Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband's Paul. We're so happy you have joined us today. We have a very full video to share with you today. We are going to be talking about some renovations we did at the little house in South Carolina. We're also going to be sharing some very unexpected costs that went along with that renovation and how we dealt with it. We're going to show you before and after and during pictures. Pretty eye-opening. And we're also going to be sharing the vegetables we're going to be planting this year, what the plants look like, how much they cost, all of that. And then we're going to get into the kitchen and we're going to be making a yummy crock pot recipe using some simple ingredients that I bet you probably have in your home already. So let's get right to this video. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the renovations we did at the little house in South Carolina. For those of you who may be new here, we have a second home in, the North Myrtle Beach area of South Carolina. It was willed to me when my parents passed, and Paul and I took it over. And thank goodness it does not cost a lot to maintain monthly. But like any investment, because that is what this is, it needs to be maintained. And we had shared with you, those of you who watch our videos in the past, that we were starting to notice soft spots on the kitchen floor. Like you would step down, and I will show you an example in a minute, and your foot would kind of feel like it's going to go through the linoleum that was on top. These floors have not been touched in probably 50 years. Nothing has been done to them. So we knew we were going to have to put some money into these floors. So we had the cash, we knew what we needed to do, and we headed down south. When we got there, they started taking apart the floor. And lo and behold, here is what was waiting for us. We're going to show you some before pictures, and we're going to show you the during pictures. So let's take a look. Here is the before pictures of the linoleum in the kitchen. This is the original linoleum from the mid-70s. It had never been replaced. And as you can see, there's soft spots. I'm pushing on it with my foot and it actually would give. Now here we are. Oh, little Dixie's in this picture. This is the original carpet, again from the mid-1970s. No matter how many times we washed this carpet, it never smelled or looked clean. It was close to 50 years old. As you can imagine, it was a gold shag carpet. We knew this had to be replaced as well. As soon as they started lifting the linoleum, you could see there were soft spots, and once they started pressing on them, this is what happened. There were also soft spots in front of the kitchen sink, so we needed an entire new subfloor. Thank goodness the beams were okay. They laid down new plywood and then another board on top of that. They weather sealed everything. Here we are in the living room. Thank goodness again, there were no soft spots in any of the other rooms. As you saw, those kitchen floors were in really bad shape. Thank goodness. The living room and the bedrooms were okay, the hallway, but that kitchen. So how did the floor get like this? And get like this pretty quickly. What had happened was there was a piece of caulking at the back door of our home. The home is brick and the little steps going out of the home are brick. Well, the caulking in the corner of the door had failed. It actually pulled away from the building. And when it would rain, the rain would come down, hit the step, and bounce back up against the door. And that little bit of area, the water was able to seep in, and our floor underneath literally absorbed it like a sponge. And that is exactly what happened. So needless to say, we refixed the caulk and did all that as well as we were doing these updates. At one point, we had 6 men working in our home. It was total chaos. Dixie and I would sit in the car by our back field and we'd run the air conditioning because there was no room for us. Everything that was in the kitchen and living room were in the bedroom. So needless to say, we were very thankful. The company we worked with went above and beyond to help us and to make sure everything was done perfectly. So let's see what it looks like after the floors were laid in the kitchen and in the living room. And then we also recarpeted the bedrooms with just a simple low-cut pile carpeting because the carpet that was in there, as you saw, it was 50 years old. Let's take a look and see our after pictures now. When they were finished, it was absolutely worth it. Here we are coming into the living room now with the new floor. What a difference. That musty, damp smell that was always in the house was completely gone. We picked up a small throw rug for the middle of the room at Walmart, and it matched perfectly. It was a perfect fit, that blue-gray rug with the furniture. So it really tied the room together. The white trim you see all around the rooms, we do need to repaint. The kitchen was instantly brightened and secure now. We were able to walk without worrying about the soft linoleum. What a difference. This was the floor that you all helped us pick out when we did a survey back in March asking what color. Good choice, thank you. Moving into the bedrooms, that gold shag carpet went throughout the bedrooms as well. Here we are in the guest room, and as you can see, we just went with a light beige, very, very short cropped carpet. Beautiful, brightened again and freshened up these rooms. Here is our room. We used that same carpet that was in the guest room, and what a difference. What a difference. Found these at Goodwill for $2.99 a piece. I thought they were adorable. We just hung them here to get out of the way, but I'm thinking this wall right here in the bedroom to hang those. I think it will just pull the whole room together. It's in blues and creams. Here's the closet. We even carpeted the closets just to give that freshness and uplift. So all in all, we are extremely thankful for getting this done. So we cannot tell you how blessed we are to have that project done. It looks beautiful. It increased the value of our home, and we're also maintaining our home. You can't take an investment and just let it rot or go into disrepair. That's just silliness. I don't like to use the word foolish, but that is what it is. So how did we end up with that $800 extra we had to pay? Well, once they started ripping up the floors and saw the holes and they started tapping on those holes and it just like crumbled, we needed a new subfloor in some areas of the kitchen. Basically half the kitchen, which we were not expecting. We were thinking they could just cut the piece out. It was going to be small and they would be able to patch it. Well, that didn't work. Here we are, 800 miles from home. We had bought the cash to do the original job. And of course, we bought extra cash just in case. But $800 was a lot of money, and that would have left us with very little cash while we were down there. We tell you all the time, please pay off your credit cards. One of the best things you can do for your financial well-being is to keep a very, very low or no balance like Paul and I do on our credit cards. We use our credit cards every month, but they are paid off in full at the end of the month. So we didn't even have to think about it. We put the $800 on our credit card, and at the end of the month, because we have an emergency saving and we put away any extra money we can, it's not going to be an issue. If you pay off your credit card at the end of the month, I want you to think of it like this. That is a free 30-day loan that the credit card is giving you. And I am talking only about if you have no balance on that card because you paid it in full the month before, and you know without a doubt you can pay that credit card off at the end of the month. And that's exactly what we did. We knew we had that money in our emergency savings that, again, we're constantly adding to. So when that $800 bill comes at the end of the month, we are able to just pay it off. That is why we live a frugal life. We cut back in other areas of our lives so that we are able to pay for what is essential and necessary in our lives. And everybody's priorities are different. We say that all the time, and your journey is not our journey, and vice versa. But keeping a very low or zero, preferably, balance on your credit card bills is a win-win all the way around. It really is. So we hope you enjoyed that little walkthrough of the house. It looks so much better. It smells so much better. It's bright, it's cheery, and it had to be done. Really want to thank you, those of you who answered our poll back in March on which color flooring to pick out. We gave you 2 samples, and over 75% of you said to pick the one that we put down. So great job. We love it, and we hope you thought it looked good too. It's time to start getting our garden going. And I know so many of you in the warmer climates are like reaping the benefits of your garden already, and we are super jealous. Paul and I were unable to start seeds this year with just so much going on. We went to a local gardening center in our area, and they had flats of plants, vegetable plants, for $14.99 a flat, which was an amazing price. So we got about 2 flats. So let's get into the shed and let us just show you what we picked out, what we're going to be planting, and we'll take you along for that journey as well. These plants were so healthy looking. We got super sweet 100 tomatoes. They are so good. We got beefsteak tomato plants. I finally have some rosemary. I have never grown that before, so I'm very excited for that. Cubanelle peppers. Some tomatoes that are a sweet cherry tomato. The sweet Italian basil, jalapeno peppers, and many others. So we're planting a little bit of everything. I've never done rosemary before, and that is one of our favorite herbs. So we are super excited to have that. Why are they in the shed? Well, because we have torrential rain and it's 45 degrees out. So hopefully, they said next week we'll get warmer and we can get our container garden going. So we'll be super happy to share that with you. Now, it's time to get into the kitchen because we need to create a meal together. This one was an absolute winner. It is so easy, and it uses ingredients you probably already have in the home. It is a honey and garlic meatball recipe that you make in the crock pot, and you can serve it over noodles or you can put it over rice. Let's turn this camera around and get into the kitchen. We are starting this recipe with just a simple meatball recipe. Now, I think the original recipe calls for like those bags of frozen meatball, but I don't have those. So I'm just going to make a quick fresh batch. So much better tasting too. So here I have a pound of meat. I keep like little ends of bread in the freezer. It's like a half of a hot dog roll. So now what I'm going to do, I take about 3 or 4 slices. You don't even have to add that much. And what I do is I just take the bread, I roll it up, and I literally grate it into the ground beef. Just watch your fingers, go slow, be careful, but this works great. Be careful though. I'm going to be adding 1 egg, a little onion powder to taste, a little garlic powder to taste, some ground pepper. Now, if this was an Italian meatball recipe, I would be adding Italian herb. Don't want a heavy Italian herb taste to this. This is going to be a sweeter meatball. And instead of salt though, I am going to add some Parmesan cheese, but by all means you can add salt. I just like this nutty, salty taste that the cheese gives. Just a little bit, maybe a 1/4 cup or so. Now, with clean hands, we're just going to work this all together. You don't want to overmix it because that will make the meatballs tough. But that's how easy it is to make a yummy meatball recipe. And now I'm just going to bake these in a 375 oven for about 20 minutes. And then we'll get everything ready for the crock pot. Here are our meatballs. I'm going to put them on the bottom. They are fully cooked. The original recipe called for 28 ounces of frozen meatballs. This is about a pound. It's about 16 ounces. That's fine for us, but I am going to keep the amount of sauce the same. We want it to have a beautiful sauce on it. We are going to mix a 1/2 cup of ketchup, 2 to 3 cloves of crushed garlic, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. It called for a 1/3 cup of honey. That just seems like an awful lot to me. So I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup. We don't want this too sweet. Again, you do it to taste. It calls for 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. We use the organic coconut amino, which is very similar. It's gluten-free and it also has a lot less sodium. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that. Now we're just going to whisk this all together. And give it a taste. Taste it and see what you think. Does it need some more flavor or is that good? Okay, oh my gosh, that is so delicious. I would think this is perfect. So now we're going to pour it over the meatballs. So we're just going to pour that all over these meatballs. Now I'm just going to coat them. This is a very large crock pot for this, but it'll be fine. It'll just cook a little bit faster is what it'll do. Make sure they are well coated. We're going to put it on low. We're going to cover it. The meatballs are cooked already, so I'm going to say maybe cook it for an hour and a half. Just want to get that sauce real thick and delicious and let those meatballs just marinate in that. So we've got it on low, do about an hour and a half, and I am going to stir it every so often just to make sure those meatballs are coated and that that glaze is not burning. So we'll check back in a little while. Paul just tasted the sauce and he said, why don't we add a little bit of heat? And I think that is a great idea. Now, of course, you could use hot sauce or sriracha, whatever you want. I think we're going to just put a little bit of some red chili pepper, not a lot. Just a little sprinkle. And I think that's going to give it the kick it needs. This has been cooking just about an hour and a half, and we took some frozen broccoli. I just ran it briefly under cold water, defrosted it a little bit, and I think this is exactly what this needs. I was going to serve it over rice, but alas, can you imagine? I don't have any rice. We finished it. So we're going to put this over egg noodles, and I think it's going to be delicious. I am going to cook it probably another, 15-20 minutes just to get that broccoli warm and absorb some of that delicious flavor. We're going to start with a bed of egg noodles, several meatballs, some broccoli. I did butter the noodles first. The only thing I wish I had done is doubled the sauce. It tastes so good. And now what I did was I toasted some sesame seeds. And I am just going to sprinkle that right on top. We're talking a gourmet meal for minimal cost, minimal effort. It looks so good. I cannot wait to dig in. So yummy, so delicious. Was it Paul approved?
It was Paul approved.
We could have licked the plates clean. That sauce was amazing. I will link the original recipe down below, but of course we tweaked it. We made our own meatballs. You use what works for you. For the warmer weather, we sometimes forget to utilize our crock pot. It is low cost, not a lot of heat into your kitchen, and you can have a warm, delicious meal in just a couple of hours. So this one was a winner, and it's going to go on rotation. We hope you enjoy it too. And if you make any of our recipes, tag us over on Instagram. We would love to see them. If you're following us on Instagram, it's just one word, Frugal Money Saver. So come on over there. And if you make any of the hundreds of recipes we have shared on this channel, tag us and let us see how they turned out and whether you and your family enjoyed them. We want to take a minute now and just thank you for all the love and well wishes and prayers and condolences you have shared with Paul and I, especially Paul, through the passing of his mom, Doris, last week. His dad is doing really well. We are with him all the time and taking him where he needs to go or just spending time with him. You don't know what it means. I mean, we have never, I could get teary, but we have never met. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to do it. We have never met you. I mean, we have met maybe a handful of you. But the love that you showed us in reaching out was something that Paul and I would never have expected. So thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts. You don't know how special you all are to us. And I know a lot of you asked where you could send a card or something. Our P.O. box is always linked in the description box below every single one of our videos. So we really, really thank you. Okay, with that being said, we thank you for spending this time with us. We ask that you please give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Come on in and be part of our frugal family. We ask you to be well. We ask you to be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you.